Hi everyone, it's Sandy. Thank you for joining me here on my channel, Septeria's Room. If you've been following me on my Instagram or Facebook, I shared with you some posts where I just went on a short trip with the caravan with my husband Luke, and I also brought with me some craft supplies because I just couldn't help myself. And normally when we travel with the caravan, I do bring some craft supplies to just make a few little craft things, as it's quite therapeutic for me when we travel. And when my husband goes on his fishing day trips, when we do travel, I use that time and spend it with some crafting. And so what I did was I shared a post on my Facebook and Instagram while I was away, and I made this really sweet pocket booklet. And I just bring some minimal supplies. I bring with me one 6x8 paper pad, some trim, and a paper punch, and just a couple of little bits and pieces. And what I normally do when I do travel with the caravan, for our short trips, what I do is I give myself about 15 to 20 minutes. I say you got 15 minutes, grab what you can in your craft room, and that's what you're going to work with when you travel. So I like to challenge myself and bring what I can in 15 minutes, put it in a small little box that I have, it's a little craft box, and then I just see what I can make with it. And that's what I did with this trip. So this is what I made. I was quite happy with it. It took me probably the morning to work out what I can make with the 6x8 paper pad. And so this is what I made, and I'm going to show you how it looks like and how simple it is for you to make one, and then we'll go ahead and I'll show you how to put one together. So it's single-sided paper. It's just a sweet little booklet. I had fun making it, and I had some trim, and I had a little small container, and I just grabbed some bits and pieces of lace, some trim, and then I just thought I'll see what I can do with the trim as well, and then combine that into the little booklet. And so that's what I've done here. I added just a little piece of some crochet doily that I had. I made a front tuck pocket here on the front of the cover, and then made a couple of tags. I forgot to bring with me my corner rounder punch. I just bring the 1.5 inch circle punch, and so I just made my own little angle, cut the corners of the card stock that I cut out just to sort of decorate the note card, and then added a piece of the trim that I had from the little container. Cut one of these from the cutter part, and then I had some more trim, so I just decorated the cover with some more trim, and then added the little piece of extra paper there to make a front corner tuck pocket down there. It opens up to a side pocket on the side here, where you can add some more tags, stickers, little note cards, little mini envelopes, whatever you like in there. And then I had some more little pieces of papers from the pad, and I thought I'll make another little corner tuck pocket here on the front of the side pocket. And so that's what I've done there, and I just sort of cut it freehand to like a curve shape, and then I just sort of use these scissors to distress the edge a little bit just to give it a tattered look, and then cut a few of these from the 6x8 paper pad as well to tuck in here. And then along here is another pocket, and I also just cut one of these little note cards from the same 6x6 paper pad and just fold that over, and that just sort of tucks in the top pocket there. And then it just so happens that I was able to just tuck it behind this little tab bit here, and then I added another piece of trim just to decorate the front of the pocket. And there is a pocket here at the back, so I just folded this little piece of paper in half, which is part of this paper here. I thought I didn't want to waste it, so I just fold that, and then you can do the same thing, and you can use this as a note card or somewhere to write a message to someone that you may want to gift one of these flat mail booklets to, or you can add a couple of photos in here and then cut it to fit inside, so you can make it into a little booklet with some photos. And then So what I'd done here, the reason why I added that there was I did use the 1" or the circle punch to create a notch on this pocket, but I didn't like it because it just sort of blended with this cover here, and I thought, oh, I'll do something to just separate the pocket so it looks like it's not one pattern. So that's why I added this piece here and covered the part where I made a notch there, and then I had some of this trim when I took it with me, and I just layered that underneath and made it into like a little flippy fabric piece. And I like how it just sort of hangs at the bottom there and decorates that. And then I added some more piece of trim here just because it was fun working with all the little bits and pieces that I had, and it just sort of decorates the side there. And then at the top here is a pocket, and it's a nice opening, so it's not a tight fit pocket. And I also just cut another piece of paper from the paper pad to fit inside the pocket, and then just folding that in half. And I was going to add some copying paper in here and folding that also, and then stapling it to make it into a booklet, but I didn't have any of the copying paper with me on my travels, but I might even do that off camera. But that's just an idea for you. You can make a little booklet and tuck it in there, so you've got a little journal in there, and then you can use the pockets to add some of your ephemera pieces that you may want to decorate inside your booklet. Some washi sample, anything you like in these pockets. There's lots of tuck pockets for all your extra pieces, and that's the back. It was just so fun. That's a little simple project. So let's make one of these, and I will also do it exactly the same and add some trim on here if you wanted to add some trim, if you have some, or ribbon, some fabric, just to add some more texture to your pocket folder. Let me just pop that back in here. You're going to need 2 pieces of 6x8 paper. I did use single-sided paper. Double-sided paper would be great because then you don't see this white part. And then you want to, if you want to add a little file tab piece here and this little pocket, you want to also cut a couple of little pieces of scrap papers with that. So let me bring my papers. I'll use that. So this is my 2 6x8 papers, single-sided. And then I cut out another piece of paper that's for this little tuck corner here, and that was cut at 1 3/4 inches by 1 3/4 inches. So it's just a square piece at 1 3/4 inches on both sides. And for this tab part, you can make it whatever size you like, whatever height you want, whatever length you want. I just had this little scrap, and I just cut it at 2 inches by just under 1 inch on the height. Again, you just make it to whatever height and length you want. So they're all the pieces you're going to need. And then you'll need a scoreboard. I did bring the small scoreboard with me for the travels because it was just more compact. But I might use, I think we can use this one. And I'm just going to bring my paper trimmer because I did bring this mini one, and I bring the large size because the mini one wasn't big enough to cut this sort of paper. All right, so what you want to decide first, what paper you want showing for this part here, and this pocket part is part of this page here. So you're just going to decide what you want here, and then the other paper will be for the inside. Now you're going to see here on the side here, you're going to see a little bit of that pattern peeking out, and I did that on purpose because I wanted to be able to see another pattern of the paper to make it more contrast to the cover. So I'm going to use this piece for the cover, and this piece will be the back. And now what we're going to do is, for the cover part, which is this one, we're going to cut this piece. We're going to cut this piece, which is the cover, and we're going to cut it on the 8-inch side. We're going to go on the 8-inch side, and we're going to go at 4.5 inches. We're going to cut it at 4.5 inches. So now you've got 2 pieces. This is the piece that's going to be on the cover. This piece, we'll put that to the side for now. We'll work on that later. And that's all for the cutting. We're just going to do some scoring now. Alright, so we'll grab the full piece. Let's score the cover part. That's this piece. I'm just going to have the print facing up, and we're going to make a couple of score lines, and we're going to go on the 6-inch side. We're going to score at 1/4 of an inch, so 1/4 inches, and 4 1/4 of an inch, and that's it for the scoring for that piece. And then we're going to grab this piece. We'll just do all the scoring now while we've got the scoreboard out. And then for this piece, let me just see, because I've kind of forgotten how I made it now. We're going to go and have the pattern facing up on the 8-inch side. We're going to, oh, sorry, let me just double check. Sorry, let's go back to this one. I made a mistake, sorry. We're going to score this at 1/2 inch, sorry. So it doesn't matter. You're not going to see that score line. It's at 1/2 inch, sorry. This is 1/2 inch. And then that score line stays the same at 4 1/4. Sorry about that. It's 1/2 inch. This piece here is at 1/4 of an inch. I only made this one once when I did the project, so I'm just trying to remember my measurements. So now for the other piece, that's going to be the pocket part on the 8-inch side. We're going to score this one at 1/4 of an inch. And then we're going to come over here at 4 1/8 of an inch. 4 1/8, if you want to know where that is on the scoreboard, it's the little mark just after the 4-inch mark. There's a little mark on your scoreboard. It's just a little mark after the 4-inch mark. And then we're going to turn it around this way on the 6-inch side. So you've got that little score, the 1/4 inch score line on the top. We're going to score it at 1 1/2 inches. So we're going to go 1 1/2 inches on the 6-inch side. And that's it for the scoring for that. Let's grab that other piece that we cut out. That's just simply folding it in half. That's the 6-inch side. That's that little note booklet here. Pretty straightforward, just fold it in half, but I'll use the scoring tool. So just at 3 inches, just fold that in half. And your booklet is complete. You can corner around those corners if you like. Might just do that, just to decorate that. So we've done that with the booklet. We can put that to the side. Now let's put together the pocket booklet now. So we've got this piece. Let's grab this piece, that 6x8 paper. What we're going to do first is we're just going to angle that little piece to the score line. Let's just do that. And then we're going to remove this piece here. So we're going to cut along there and here. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to just do a slight angle from the top, from there, and come down to where it meets there. Just a slight angle. So we're going to just go like this. Or actually, let's just cut it here first so you can see what I mean. Let's just remove it. That way you can see what I'm trying to do. So I'll remove this little piece. We're going to put this piece to the side. Oops. Put that to the side for now. And then I'm just going to do a slight little angle going down to there. Not much, probably about 1/8 of an inch. Just a little bit. And I'll tell you why in a second. It just makes it easy when we fold over the pocket. And then we're going to bring this piece and fold this in. And press down all your folds really well. then we'll fold this in. And then this piece gets folded up, and that's that pocket that's here. So that's going to be this part. So I'm just going to fold that in place now. Just trying to line it all up. And then we're going to grab the cover. Alright, so we've got the cover. Ignore that first score line that I did there. We're going to fold this piece in. And then I'm just going to do the same angle cut those. And let's just fold that in as well. So that is how it looks like. So you fold them both back. This piece is going to get placed inside here like that. And then that part will get glued down to make this pocket. Now to assemble this piece, I'm just going to do the same and make a notch there. You don't have to do that if you don't want to. I'm just going to do that. Just decorates the pocket. So what we're going to do first, we are going to add glue to the back here and glue onto here. This is not tricky, but just trying to get it to sit right. So I'm going to add glue, keeping away from the fold, but just gluing up to where the edge is. And I'm just going to add glue here, and then you'll find what's easy for you to assemble it. I'm just showing you how to do this part. So what we want to do is we want to glue this piece down. Actually, let's glue that piece to here, and we're going to glue that down a little bit away from the fold. Should have done this first instead of adding glue. Just keep it away from the fold, and we can just drop that down. Just line it all up. So what you want to do is you want to sandwich that little side flap on this page, and then that's glued down at the back. So I'll just take that out so you can see what I mean. So you want the back flap to be glued onto this piece to be glued to the front, and just making sure that fold line is just a little bit away. It's only so that you can open and close and it doesn't catch onto the fold. So I'm just going to add a bit more glue now. And the reason why I angled cut that piece down here a little bit also just helps to fold this piece up. It doesn't sort of catch on, you know, when you fold it up. And now that's that. And we can now just add glue to these two pieces, and we can finish that off. So what I've done before is I created a notch down here, but it just blended. The pattern was just all one, and I just thought it looked a little bit plain. So that's why I thought by adding another pattern paper to the pocket just sort of pops the pocket out. So now you'll have a nice wide opening pocket there. That pocket's done, and let's just glue this piece down. That's giving us now that side pocket. And that is your pocket folder all complete. Now we've got some extra little pieces here. That was this piece and this piece, so you can see nothing gets wasted. And we've got this little note card that we made that will fit perfectly in there. How pretty is that already? It just coordinates really well, and it can also go in there, and it can also go into the side pocket that we're going to make, like this one, which is going to be the little piece here that was cut out from part of this bottom piece. You're going to see there is a score line on one of them. On one side, we're going to remove that. We don't need, that's probably the only piece that we waste, as well as that little extra piece here. So pretty much no wastage in this project. Now this piece is going to get placed on the front like that, just like I have here. You can change it, and you could put it down here if you like and make your pocket there. Just trim off that excess, the excess piece, just trim that off. And so you can decide, but I'm going to go this way because I think that looks nicer to go that way. I'm going to corner around that. Also decorates the corner. So it's going to get placed there, but I'm going to add some trim to the back like I have, just to add some texture. If you don't have any trim or lace or fabric, you can just leave that and not worry about that. I think that's the same one that I just took the same trim out of the little box that I brought with me and just put it in this tray. So I'm just going to add that to there. Look how pretty that already looks, so pretty. I'm going to leave a little bit of this piece hanging off the edge a little bit, and just sort of just gives it that extra little bit of a frill. And I might just cut that off now. Can even leave a little bit dangling off, which I might do. I like having trim and lace sort of sticking out of the pages. Just adding glue to the edges. Okay. So that's that. And then I can place that there, and then just glue in just the two sides. Helps with the opening of the pocket if I just glue the two sides. Sort of place that on the corner. And that gives you that pocket there. And then because this was plain, that's why I did add some extra lace. Now these, you can find all of these sort of crochet doilies or crochet little table covering from your op shop or secondhand store or thrift store for $1. They're about $1 or $2, and they come in handy. They're just little crochet doilies, and I just cut off the, any part that looks fancy. Not you just sort of, I'm just going to sort of do that and add it on. I'm just going to cut that off. And you sort of just make it how you like. I'm just going to probably just go like that. Have a little piece hanging on the bottom. I might cut off a little bit more. My scissors are a bit blunt. One second, let me grab the other one. Okay, that looks good. Just play around with it to how you like it. So I'll just do that. Glue that down. And again with this one, I'm just going to let that dangle. So I might just go like that a bit. You can stretch these crochet doilies. Stretch them out. So that's the front part done. Now let's just go on the inside and add the couple of other extra pieces that we had here. So what I'll do, I'll finish off this piece. That's this little rectangle piece. I'm just going to do the same corner around 2 corners. I'm just going to place it about there. I might do the same and add the little flippy piece there if you want to see how I've done that. It's really easy. Just grabbing another piece of lace. Not too sure how big this is. So I'm just gonna do that, and that's just gonna get glued on top of it like that. So let's add a bit of glue to the edge there. Bit of glue to one end, one side. You can distress it too with your distressed ink if you want to do some distressing to the edges. Do all of that first before you start adhering all of your fabric and other pieces, otherwise you won't be able to. I might just add a bit more glue. Be hard for you to ink them once they're put together. All right, so now that is done. There's a little bit of a flippy fabric piece there. I think that looks really cute, and I might even just quickly add one of these little pieces there just so it doesn't look so plain. And let's just use this piece. Again, just getting glue, not about that much. Just going to scrunch all this up. That's the right side. Just pushing it around up there and just scrunching it, gluing it down. You can use your hot glue gun. I don't have my hot glue gun here. It's still packed in the box, so I haven't been able to use my glue gun. Okay, that'll do. Now the glue's all set. And that finishes that part. So when you close it, you can see the lace trim. And now I've got this little piece. This piece is going to go there, and you can leave it like this and add a notch there and glue down the 3 sides, and you've got your little pocket up there. Or you can do it this way, which I think is better because you've got a bit more of an opening to add any bigger size tags or bits and pieces. And I'm just going to just go there and just do like some kind of a curve shape. And I think if it's not perfect, it looks I like it when it's not so perfect. And I'm just going to just use my scissors and sort of scrape the edge to give it that tattered look. And that goes in there. So that's it. And now I'm just going to glue that down, and that gives me that little pocket. And glue down the sides. Just let that set for a minute. And that is the sweet little pocket booklet, all done using some trim to decorate it. A couple of pieces of 6x8 papers, and that will go in here. I think that looks nice. It just sort of coordinates that really well. Then you've got your pocket up here to add a note card or a booklet, mini journal. I made mine a little bit higher than 4.5 inches. I think this is about 5 inches in height because I like it peeking out at the top, and it just looks so pretty. And then you got the side pocket here for some tags. You've got another pocket here in there for more tags. And then you can even add a large tag in there, you see, so making your pocket like that just helps tuck any of these bigger tags, and it just keeps them in place like that. So I had a lot of fun making this, and just didn't bring much at all with me on my trip, and I was still able to complete a cute little pocket folder. I hope you enjoyed this video of my little project that I made, as well as my tutorial. Thank you for joining me on my channel. I hope you also give this a go, and I'll see you all soon in my next video. Bye for now.